Pinwheel jasmine. The pinwheel jasmine is a lovely plant that has dark green foliage and white blooms that will look great in any space. This plant prefers partial shade, which is why it works well in this state. Butterfly iris. If you are looking for a plant that attracts butterflies, then the butterfly iris is going to be an ideal option. This is a plant that doesn't require a lot of water, and it grows in full sun to partial shade. Indian hawthorne. As a plant that does well in zones 8 through 11, it's ideal for growing in Florida. It will grow well in full sun as well as afternoon shade. Areca palm. A mature areca palm can grow to be up to 30 feet tall. It prefers to grow in slightly acidic soil and indirect sunlight. It produces pale yellow flowers, and it does not need a lot of water to grow. Uchina, also known as the princess flower, this is a tropical plant that produces purple flowers. With full sun, acidic soil, and regular watering, this plant can grow to be 20 feet tall. Variegated ginger. This plant does not like to grow in colder climates. It can grow to be 10 feet tall in the right environment, which makes it ideal for Florida. Pentas. This is a plant that is known for its brightly colored blooms and for attracting pollinators. It grows best in full sun and well-drained soil, but overall the plant requires very little to maintain. Codin. This is a plant that grows well in rich soil and direct sunlight for a few hours a day. Because of this, a shady location in Florida is going to be ideal, but it will need frequent watering during the growing season. Cadium. This plant will thrive in high humidity areas. In fact, humidity and temperatures above 65 degrees Fahrenheit is necessary for it to grow. It will need a lot of light, but not direct sunlight, so growing it in the shade or indoors is recommended, especially during the hot summer months in Florida. Foxdale fern, grown in zones 9 to 11. This is a plant that can grow to be 2 feet in height. It is a drought-tolerant plant that will do well in high-heat areas that is very low maintenance. Too much water could cause the plant to have issues with rot and fungus. Jacobinia pink. This shrub, which can grow to be 5 feet tall, has white and pink flowers. It likes to grow in tropical areas, which makes Florida, especially southern Florida, ideal. It will do well in partial shade, which means that you should plant it where it avoids the scorching afternoon sun. Persian shield. The Persian shield is a plant that likes to grow in high humidity, so it is often only found outdoors in zone 10. It can handle full sun, but it tends to grow the best in partial shade that avoids the afternoon sun. Bromeliads are a plant that will grow best in humid, moist conditions. Make sure that the plant has enough drainage and that it is not getting direct sunlight for the majority of the day. Saw palmetto. This is a drought-tolerant plant that will grow in any type of lighting from full sun to full shade. It does well in wet areas of the country because it needs a lot of moisture to grow. Peace lily. This bright white lily is one example of a lily that is capable of growing in the shade, though they will bloom less in complete shade. Peace lily are drought-tolerant plants, so they will not require a lot of water. Cordyline. Cordylines are super easy to grow. They have leathery leaves that look fantastic all summer long. You can find cordyline in red and pink. They are drought-tolerant, but don't let them dry out too much. Grow them in well-drained soil in light shade or full sun. Peperomia. Peperomia plants are often called radiator plants or rubber plants. They can be grown inside as a houseplant or out in the garden. They can provide beautiful green foliage. Peperomia plants are a perfect Florida shade plant as they thrive in full shade. Alocasia odora. The Alocasia odora, often called elephant ears for their dramatic green foliage. They grow to be around 4 to 8 feet tall. Plant them in your shade garden. They thrive in moist to wet soil. Astic grass. The Astic grass plant looks similar to a spider plant. Astic grass can grow to be 12 to 18 tall. In Florida, it can thrive in part shade. Fire spike. The fire spike grows to be 4 to 6 feet tall. They grow beautiful red tubular flowers. Fire spike can grow in shade in Florida year-round, but for maximum blooms, you may want to plant these in full sun. Cat palm. A cat palm is very similar to an areca palm. Planting them in the shade is best, which will require less watering. This palm grows to be 6 to 8 feet tall. Dwarf azalea. A dwarf azalea can bloom at different times throughout the year. It's a small shrub that can grow in shade. Chenille plant. The chenille plant can be grown outdoors in the garden or in a container. In Florida, it blooms on and off all year. Helicomia plant. This exotic plant looks amazing in Florida gardens. They blossom in the spring, summer, and fall. They thrive in zone 10 bits as these plants prefer warm weather. Oyster plant. The oyster plant is an excellent choice for a ground cover. They have beautiful green leaves and the back of the leaves are purple. The oyster plant can thrive in different light conditions, but does best in part shade to partial sun.